In the episode Mr. Bean Goes to Town, there's a memorable sequence where Mr. Bean, ever the childlike and mischievous character, buys an ice cream cone and proceeds to eat it in a way that only he can by trying to balance the ice cream perfectly, but constantly making a mess. Atkinson, as always, wanted to do his own stunts for scenes that involve physical comedy. For this particular scene, he was required to balance a large, messy ice cream cone on top of a car. The idea was for him to step into the car, attempting to maintain the balance, only for the ice cream to end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. To achieve this, Atkinson knew the ice cream had to stay perfectly in place before it was knocked over, allowing for a funny and exaggerated reaction from his character. What made this gag so tricky was the ice cream itself. The crew was struggling with keeping it in place for the scene. Atkinson, ever the perfectionist, decided to take matters into his own hands. He spent hours on set testing different types of ice cream cones with varying degrees of melting, and ways to make the ice cream look perfectly balanced in the moments before it toppled. In fact, he became so invested in the gag that he worked with the crew to figure out which type of ice cream would stay for him long enough to achieve the scene's timing, and also how to make it look like it was toppling at the right comedic moment. Behind the scenes, physical comedy precision. In an interview, Atkinson shared how many of the gags on Mr. Bean were the result of him performing endless takes to get the comedic timing just right. This ice cream gag was no exception. After a series of attempts with different ice creams, props, and even fake snow to simulate ice cream, Atkinson was finally satisfied with the outcome. But the most interesting part of this story is that Atkinson still wanted to get everything perfect. After the scene was filmed, he took one more look at the ice cream, adjusted it again, and insisted that they reshoot the gag. The result is one of the most famous and beloved Mr. Bean moments, a character trying to balance something in a way that's so absurd, yet so charming, that it perfectly encapsulates the essence of the show. Atkinson's dedication to the smallest details in physical comedy, even something as simple as an ice cream cone, helped elevate Mr. Bean into the timeless classic it became. What makes this story particularly interesting is the level of commitment Rowan Atkinson had to the Mr. Bean character and his comedic art. Mr. Bean might seem like a simple character at first glance, but behind every gag, there was meticulous planning and execution. Atkinson's willingness to fine-tune even the smallest moments, like an ice cream cone on a car, shows just how much he cared about every detail of the performance. Atkinson was never one to simply let a moment pass. He was always determined to get it exactly right. Even with something as seemingly trivial as an ice cream cone, his persistence in ensuring that it worked perfectly led to one of the most memorable gags of the series.